easy to do. Turk clicked his talk button, transmitting to the controller. Tech Observer to Range Control 1 requesting approximate ETA of exercise. Perpetrator is at the southern end of the range and preparing to initiate exercise, said the controller, who was sitting in a bunker several miles to the south. He repeated some contact frequencies and general conditions, running down flight information Turk already had. By the time he finished, the B-1Q was in visual range, making a low-altitude run from the south at high speed. Turk nudged Old Girl's stick, banking slightly to give his passenger a better view. The B-1Q was flying at 200 feet above the flat sand of the glass-like desert range. Old Girl was about a half-mile from its flight path and would keep that distance for the duration of the demonstration. Like Old Girl, the B-1Q was a flying test bed. She, too, had undergone extensive refurbishing, so much so that she now belonged to the future rather than the past. Having started life as a B-1B Lancer, the plane had been stripped to her skeleton and rebuilt. Her external appearance and performance were similar to the B-1R. Like the updated Bone, she was capable of flying well over Mach 2 for a sustained period and carrying armloads of both air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons. But the B-1Q's electronics were very different than those in the B-1R model, and her internal bomb bay held something more advanced than any of the missiles other bombers could unleash. Turk glanced at the B-1Q as the bomb bay door opened. A gray cloud spewed from it, as if she had been holding a miniature thunderstorm in her belly. The cloud grew black, boiling, then dissipating. Black hailstones appeared, rising and falling around the airplane until it was enveloped in a loose black cocoon. "That's it," said the Admiral. "Looks like a net." "In a way, sure," said Turk. It was the least cantankerous comment the Admiral had made all morning. "Interesting." The Admiral remained silent as the cloud and the B-1Q continued downrange. Turk tipped the Phantom into a bank, easing off his stick as he realized he should keep the G's to a minimum for his VIP. Old Girl bucked with a bit of unexpected turbulence as she moved through the turn. Even she seemed a bit fed up with tour bus duty this morning. The B-1Q started an abrupt climb. As it did, the black cloud began to separate. Half of it stayed with the bomber, the rest continued forward, forming itself into a wedge. "So that's the swarm," said the Admiral. Not only was he not complaining, he sounded enthusiastic. "Yes, sir," said Turk. "You're going to follow it, aren't you? Yes? You're following it?" "Yes, sir. I have to keep at a set distance. Get as close as you can." "Yes, sir. Working on it." Turk was already as close as the exercise rules allowed and wasn't about to violate them. Hot shit pilot or not, that would get him grounded quicker than pissing off the Admiral. He tilted the aircraft just enough to placate the Admiral, who remained silent as the Phantom followed the black wedge. The wedge, aka Swarm, was a flight of 20 nano-UAVs, officially known as XP-38 UVNs. Barely the size of a cheap desk calculator, the small aircraft looked like a cross between lawn darts and studies for a video game. With V-shaped delta wings, they were powered by small engines that burned Teflon as fuel. The engines were primarily for maneuvering. Most of their flight momentum came from their initial launch and gravity. Designed to be fired from space, they could complete complicated maneuvers by altering the shape and bulges of their airfoil. Though their electronic brains were triumphs of nanotechnology and engineering, the real breakthroughs that made them possible were in the tiny motors, switches, and actuators that brought the skeleton to life. Dubbed Hydra, the nano-UAVs stood on the threshold of a new era of flight, one where robots did the thinking as well as the doing. They could be pre-programmed for a mission. Their collaborative brains could deal with practically all contingencies, with humans in the loop only for emergencies. It was a brave new world, one that Turk didn't particularly care for, even if, as a test pilot, he'd been an important cog in its creation. Cog being the operative word, as far as